All right, check one, check two. This is it. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour.
I feel it.
I'm your host, Rob Cantrell. We are here for another episode. This is 294. I have a great guest, a musician, an artist, the coolest of the cool. She's toured with David Cross. She's been in major TV comedies, also writes. She's also has a law degree. She's amazing.
That's crazy. Thank you.
Give it up for Shonali Bhowmik, everybody.
Thank
Shonali
you
Bhowmik.
Man, I have never had a bongo intro. I'm feeling it. We need it. We need more bongo.
A lot more bongo. I want to just have these on my couch. I'm excited to see you, but I was more excited. I was like, my beat machine is around. I want to go. I want a full Dobie Gillis this episode. Do you know about Dobie Gillis and Maynard G. Krebs?
Wait, I do. Who is Dobie? I know Dobie Gillis. But
He was the original hipster. Dobie Gillis was, what was it, Gilligan's Islands? He was Gilligan. And his first television show, he played a beatnik that would hang out on the couch and play the bongos. And he was Maynard G. Krebs. I don't know. I watched a lot of old television.
Man,
as
I
a
love
kid.
Gilligan's Island. I did that. Well, I definitely, when I see this, I see my youth because there was an era. I lived in Santa Cruz, and you had to buy a bongo. And my best friend Michelle we had a bongo in our parties. We would play. We weren't good. We were not good.
Nobody. Really. There's some people that are really good.
We never got good, but it felt right.
Felt right. Feels
Felt
right now.
Yes.
Drums are always good. Music is always good. The reason I feel free to do this around you is you are a supreme musician.
Oh, thank you.
And you've just released a new rock and roll album by yourself.
I did.
Tell me all about it.
You know what? This is after I talked to you, Rob, last. It was, okay, I don't want to play music anymore. I don't want to make art. The world is falling apart. What we do is meaningless. That was a little bit of what I was feeling for a second. Just meaning like, we got important things to do.
Yes.
And then my dad passed away.
I'm sorry.
Then, thank you. It did definitely suck, and it still sucks. But something came into my heart that was like, wait a minute. What would he want me to do? He would want me to be me.
Yes.
And being me means I've been writing music since I was a little kid.
Oh.
And I just went on to my garage band and checked out. I had so much music on there. And I listened to it. I had, you go on a garage band, you can put in flute, you can put strings, you can put drums, you can
Put a laser.
Punk rock. Yeah, you could do exactly. That's exactly right. It'll be like crazy, like cassette tape cut into beat machine, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
So.
But just it sounds fresh.
Yeah. So I was listening back, and I actually liked what I did, and then it was this. It just like. It started going. It was like my voice also is an extension of my dad's voice. I wanted to keep being in the world, and then I tapped into my roots. I started playing music. I grew up in Nashville, started in Atlanta, making music. I went back to my old school homies that I started playing music with, and recorded in Atlanta with them. And it's the first time I've recorded music without like rehearsing with the band beforehand. It was like super organic. Dan Dixon, I have to say his name because he was my producer, and he's an amazing musician, friend.
Yeah.
And then other musicians, Jeff Holt, Darren Dodd, Shannon Wright, Michelle Dubois, especially if you live in Atlanta, you know them.
Yeah.
But man, I'm so proud of my album.
Yes.
I am so proud of it. It's called One Machine at a Time.
One Machine at a Time. I checked out the music video. The first Up All Night is a banger.
Up All Night is the banger.
Up all night. Up all night. Up. It's got a hook. It's hooked. I'm hooked already.
We can talk about the 80s. We understand there was lots of fresh music that came out of the 80s.
Yes.
And it's like, there are things in it now looking back. Because I record this music as if, it's 2024. But I can hear inspirations And guess what? Duran Duran
Oh yeah.
is one of my inspirations.
I could feel a Duran Duran vibe from you.
You can.
Because you're an artist, but you got some fashion to you.
Thank you.
You're not afraid to fashion it up. I could see you in the 80s.
This is my Golden Girls look.
No, that is straight London fresh. You're about to hang out on Abbey Road. You're hanging out with the drummer from the Beatles, dude from Humble Pie stopping by.
This is that. Thank you for
Fashion's a trip. I've been tripping out on fashion.
I love fashion.
Yes, I was talking to my wife today, and everybody has their own fashion.
Yes.
It's so individual, you know?
Dude.
You could say, I dress like a preppy, or I dress like an alt dude, but no, everybody has their own, like, little crust of chrome, or little handkerchief, or a weird belt. You know, I got this weird army belt that I don't always
And if any of your listeners live in Bushwick,
yeah,
I randomly follow a Reddit thread for Bushwick.
What's going down? What's going on with the fashion scene of Bushwick? These kids don't play around.
So this is what and it just pops up. Somehow they've hooked me. I think I was looking at a bar or something.
Right.
And this person just posted a comment of, Bushwick fashion is no fashion, which is what you're saying, which meaning like you just put on the most random clothes so that you have no look, which is your look. I'm into it. So I am totally into it. And so I think his or her premise was that it's terrible, but there were so many people that tapped in. There was like 1,000 comments. Look it up. It's great.
People were calling it out, saying it's too much. But no, I believe in expression, and I believe in individual expression is the hardest.
It's the hardest.
It's the hardest, but you can just slice down mountains when you get there. If you own it. If you own that cassette earring that you hang, or that wire that you made out of a belt, if you own it, nobody could say it's not a mink coat.
Joke.
If you own it, you just own it.
How many times have you taken a photo of inconspicuously of someone on the train because they're owning some crazy look?
Yes.
That is just admirable. Which, going back to Duran Duran, which are some of the best fashionistas ever. In rock and
cool
roll.
Synthesizers. What I liked about, they did heavy synths. They got like literally the Testarossa of synthesizers. They got the Ferrari of synthesizers and got like 9 of them and just got coked out to the gills and just started rocking these synths so hard. It's so good. It's some of the catchiest shit ever.
Well, and you know that we both are fans of comedy, of music, of fashion.
Yes.
So I was a huge Duranie.
Yes.
And I didn't realize that they were in my music until after I made the record. And we still call it records. Anyway, I got a call from a friend. It's like, Simon Le Bon is going to play your song on his radio show tomorrow. And I mean, my 14-year-old heart just like exploded. And I mean, that's what you dream of. That's what your whole life is based on, your high school and adolescent
Those early
dreams,
years. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're still doing that.
I'm still doing it. I'm still trying to hang out. Yeah.
And so my mom was in town, and so we listened to the radio show the next day, and I mean, I still was thinking about it. I was like, man, I had the best year ever just because of that. Simon Le Bon talked about Le Bon. Spoke about me. He said my name correctly. He talked about me being a fan. He loved the song. And then the co-host said, it's up all night. It's up all night.
Yeah.
He talked about, and they played it, and then they talked about me after. Forever, the best, like two and a half minutes of him talking about me is some of the best moments of my life. Dreams come true. Dreams can come true.
Yes.
No matter how old you are.
No.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens all the time. It happens every day. This whole thing is a dream. I'm in a weird jazz club playing the bongos with Shonali. Every moment is a dream. But no, it does happen, and when you do connect with like, I mean, I've connected with some really big comedy people as well as music people. one of the, like, I smoked a joint with Grandmaster Caz.
Whoa!
Who was the first MC of the Cold Crush Brothers. And the Cold Crush Brothers were like before hip hop ever blew up. Like, he's known as the coolest of the cool.
Man.
That was amazing.
Wow.
And then I just saw Soul Coughing.
Yes,
Doty, and I
know.
loved Soul Coughing in the early 90s.
Yes.
I loved those
Great.
CDs. I had
Great.
I just would play them till they popped.
Mike Doty is such a cool. I knew them back then. Stayed at his place here and in Florida because he was friends of a bandmate. Such an awesome dude, also.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's
And
he's smart, and he's he's well spoken, and he's just he just has a good vibe.
Yes.
Yeah, good vibe, and it's not pretentious, rock starry, but it's also he likes art and cool music and shit.
And my random, and I will stop talking about other people that we.
Yeah,
love.
I don't want to do any
my,
name dropping
My
shit.
last one one of the one that I had last year is my friend Pete Miser, an awesome hip hop artist.
Yeah.
Great, and I helped him with his video. He's friends with Drez of Black Sheep. And
Oh, wow.
So Drez, and I mean, I'm a Black Sheep fan. Most hip hop fans are.
Yeah. I mean,
This
and That is like one of the top songs of the '90s beyond hip hop. Like,
Yeah.
if you, I saw bar bands play that song, and it always crushes, no matter what. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you
can get with that.
Engine number 9 on the New York Transit line. If I change them off the back, pick it up, back on the scene. That's what I love, the drop. Don't you love the drop? Don't you love it?
That's what I had to say. Like that, I mean, I met a lot of artists, but that really like filled my heart. Another.
Oh yeah, he's
super,
in New
super
York.
Cool person, and just still happening out there, still making music, making art, out there. Like we are. We're out here.
Yeah, and we're out here, and I do think like the independent, what you're leaning into, Shonali, and you've always been a brilliant musician, and you've made cool alternative rock that had a songwriter soul to it, whereas a lot of like alt rock like kind of goes into art. When thing gets too artsy fartsy, I'll tune out. But if you can bring it back to songwriting, has a human molecule in it. And I always thought that was lacking within alternative rock was the human molecule, and that's what your albums does have.
Thank you.
It still has that like I want a fuzzed out guitar, I
Yeah.
want some good chords, but you
Yeah.
also do singer-songwriter stuff, which is so dope.
Totally. I admire so many old school singer-songwriters growing up. I mean, I grew up in Nashville. So even country, like, you know, there's so many classic country songs. I'm into like old school country, I gotta say. The new pop country, which to me is just like all pop music. I mean, again, now I'm going down. I'll just tell you what I like.
But
I
there
was
is a big
fan
bro
of
country. What's the
bro country?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. But
Yeah.
I played for my kid. I played for my wife, who's from the north. Guess what I played? I blew their mind. Song of the South, sweet potato brothers and cuss my mouth. Said, song of the wind, back again. Song of the South, sweet potato pie, baby. What is it? It's sweet potato pie, baby. Hush my mouth.
These are the kinds of songs that they get stuck in your head.
My uncles all played. They chewed Red Man. I listened to all that, like Kenny Rogers, Alabama.
Yes.
Conway Twitty.
Alabama. So the best friend of mine that I grew up playing music with, Michelle, her dad wrote "Love in the First Degree" by Alabama.
Oh my God, that's a great song.
Guilty, Love in the First Degree.
How does that song start? Do you know the first line?
Oh my God.
It begins.
You know what?
First step. Is it that one?
I can't-
No, is it that
I
one?
don't.
First step.
It's been that long. I don't
Yeah.
know. I
But-
don't know, but
That Southern music, though, it kind of blends into where the Eagles land.
yes.
And so if you're into like, I'm only into Cat Stevens or Neil Young but they got all their harmonies and guitar playing from the South, from all those country artists.
Yep.
Like if you want earth country music, country music people diss on it, but it is great American, music.
Yes.
And when done well.
I mean, I listen to Hank Williams. Like, I listen to Johnny Cash. I listen to George Jones and Tammy Wynette. Like, oh, I'm talking old school, but those are classic songs, and there's like a story.
Yeah.
There's a narrative. They're just.
And the guitar playing's so good. Yeah, because those were session musicians. So when you start listening to 60s and 70s stuff, like these musicians played for a living, and they weren't famous. So you would get these just amazing. I don't know, the sound just sounded so cool.
So good.
And so clean, like all the guitars were great.
So I think like one thing you touched on is when I recorded, beyond like it was so spontaneous, but it was like, there was a mission, like I had vision. I did have ideas, like I want this and I want this. I want to make sure that the guitar does this. I wrote this lead, let's do this, But I wasn't scared of going into some of these old places and taking things that I really loved about it. Like I love George Harrison's solo records, and they are so deep. There's such beautiful songs.
So.
And
almost mantras to a point.
Yes. Yeah.
I love them.
Maybe it's that connection. He was really tapped into the Indian culture and like
very much so.
And that's something you can't help who you are. It's
no. We had a Bangladeshi comic on the last episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Osama Siddiqui. Do you know? He's very funny.
I
young
gotta know
cat.
him.
You gotta know him. And the episode's amazing. And he's hilarious. But he's playing the tabla. He's been playing that, and he grew up with it, and he's been going back to it. But it's like
that's difficult.
Yeah, just like Middle Eastern music with percussion and spirituality is all like tied in.
Yes.
It's so heavy and so deep.
Yeah.
And just like rock and roll just comes from all the churches in the South.
That's so true.
That's all it is all those kids learning how to play the organ and singing in tune.
True.
and writing a little song. Like it all comes from the church.
Right.
It's the weird thing.
And
the same thing with Middle Eastern, like all that sitar stuff all
True.
comes from kind of a mystical, spiritual angle.
I took an online alumni college class this summer, and it was about following the Mississippi, following the roots of rock and roll by following the Mississippi River and the Delta, right? So the beginning, which was really cool, when you're talking about spirituality, a lot of it, we talk about Caribbean music and like New Orleans being the beginning, they shared the work songs, right? So like from before slavery, right? Like pulling the boat in and out, and the music that folks would make coming back and forth. And so plantations, when slaves would make the music, we know, like, and then the blues and the blues, but it's just like, to me, when we tie all of the dots and connect it from the basic like premise that humans needed something to keep them like their souls content while they were working, that's where rock and roll came from.
Yeah.
That's literally me. That's you.
Yeah,
I'm a lifer. I play music till I die. There's no one that's going to tell me to stop unless, I don't know, they zip up my mouth and shut down my finger. I don't know. But literally know that this is something that I will do forever, and really am excited about the idea of being 90 on stage and just like shuffling on stage. I don't know if anybody will be in the audience.
Yeah, they will. You got to visualize. Shonali, you going down that ramp. Visualize those people there, and they will be there. But I know what you're saying, but I also wanted to commend you on flying the spaceship into inner space. Meaning, when you write songs from your soul, it's a tricky thing, because you have to completely, and that's what I do like about creativity and what I'm learning about myself. You have to cut yourself off to the whole world and go inward. And then find this weird bleep, bleep, bloop, bleep, bleep that's in there, but it is in there.
Yep.
Everybody has it in there. That's
Everybody
the cool, mystical part
it's
of it
so
all.
Cool.
But it's hard, and it's weird, and to do it over and over again, and with all this great technology that we have, it is only up to us, though, to make it all. Tell us about the making of this album. So you had your friend mix it? Did you do all the mixing yourself, or did you send it out? Did you release it yourself, or did you have a label?
Yeah, so there's like 3 parts to me about it. Is like writing the songs, recording the songs, and then releasing. Put it into the world,
that's
right?
the gig.
And as artists, all 3 are full-time jobs, right?
Full-time, and you can't be slack on any of them.
No, and it will keep you up at night, because you're like, I could have done that, or I could have done this. But it's just the way it is. There's no end to what we could all do, right? You have to, but the writing of it, I think, was really cathartic for me because I really dove into what I was feeling, right? And it was like the instability of the world, one, but then also like, what do I have? I have awesome friends and family and like life and like just those two things. How do I know that's something that people connect with, and to like let go of any sort of insecurity of like that's been said before or that's been done before, and just really my dad helped me because I think my dad's so cool and so unique that it helped me register that I could possibly be that because I'm his daughter, you know, like I could share me and that could be different, and I had to use that as a guiding force and helpful. So I would be in there. My husband, Jasper, paints in the day. You know, his day job is a mural
Brilliant
painter.
artist. I love him.
So I would try, anytime I had time off from work, I would be, from paid work, I'd be in there with the garage band, have like the box, the guitar, the bass here, and like headphones, and like strumming. And I mean, I was recording so much before I went into the studio, you know, and like, and liking what I made. I was like, whoa, this is good. Use GarageBand. If you haven't, use GarageBand. Even aspiring musicians, like, try it out.
Yes.
You can explore. And then when I was like, I think this is good, you know, that was another shift. I literally within a month, I did what was it called? Indiegogo.
Yes.
First time I've done that.
Yes.
And man, I got so much support. It just shifted it into overdrive because that's nerve-wracking.
That is nerve-wracking.
You're like, I don't know about it. But you know what? F it.
Yeah,
I don't even say that.
Yeah,
because guess what? How many corporations are spending money on like mediocre shit? And like, who are
Your
we?
friends are going to spend it on some dumb shit anyway. They can throw you $12. That's all I'm saying. They're going to buy some whack-ass meal that they're going to walk out of and like, that sucked. Did I pay $20 for eggs?
They're buying lattes at fancy coffee stores.
Yeah. So they can throw you $12.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's our life's work. So I dove into that. That response really floored me. Like, thank you to all of you that did support me. That really helped me just take it to the next place, which was call my friend at the studio in Atlanta. And it was all within like literally like a year to the date that I started saying I'm going to do this. A year later, it was done.
You had a project.
I had the album recorded. I had the album mastered. I got mastered in Nashville. I wanted to tie into it all the things that mean so much to me. Nashville's my hometown. I had a woman in Nashville do it. And then I had my best friends in Atlanta work with me. And then when I got back, I was like, I'm going all in. I have my own label, Little Lamb Recordings.
Yes.
Rob knows this. And then I mean, I've done things that I haven't done in a long time. I was like, I'm going on tour. And then guess what? I don't have a booking agent anymore. I had to do that all by myself.
I know.
And man, y'all that don't know, this is a whole other level of like doing stuff because you're your own booking agent, manager, band leader,
Stay
rehearsal
healthy.
leader, promotion, social media. You have to promote on social media.
Everything.
It is like my brains were almost exploding every day.
Yes.
But I also had such good feedback. People loving the music. People that also are musicians that said they were inspired, and like people that are in the business that were like, I have never seen somebody work so hard. I took it as a compliment.
Yeah. You found that other gear. Yeah.
And for the first time ever, guess what?
What?
My album was submitted for a Grammy. Grammys, it's like you submit for the Grammys.
Right.
I just believe. I was like, I'm tired of waiting for the corporate support. Like, hell, no.
No, it's not there anymore.
No.
You got to go.
I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I know this is good. And like, the friends in the business that have just been like, this is awesome. This album is. If Simon Le Bon is talking about you, like, come on.
Come on, you're good to go.
That's support.
That's great support. That's great. And you played all these really cool venues, and you did you kind of threw it back. People don't, Shonali, I'm want to give you some historical, but you opened for David Cross's first like punk rock when he first took comedy out of like comedy clubs.
Yeah.
And he was kind of like one of the first guys to go into some of these music spaces. He brought this cool chick band that was rockers from Atlanta that he knew on the very first tour. So
or should I say, I brought him.
Yeah.
Rob knows. It's like literally David, I love David Cross, just reiterate.
Shout out.
He can act like a curmudgeon and like, talk shit even about me, even though he loves me. But he really is at his heart, like super, super fantastic human. So he was at one of our shows in Atlanta at the Earl. Shout out to the Earl. It's a legendary place in Atlanta. And he was in a front pogoing while we were playing, and my best buddy Michelle Dubois, whose dad wrote Love in the First Degree, the two of us have been laughing, clowning around since we were little girls. And our like as much as we love Simon Le Bon, we love David Cross. And here he is, and we were like, oh my God, we were playing. It's like, this dude, oh my God, this is exactly who we want to meet. Yeah. So after
and this is at the height of Mr. Show fame. Yeah.
Yep. And he was on Arrested Development. It was like, you know. So I just went straight up to him. We became fast friends. And in days after meeting and hanging out, I said, do you want to go on the road with us? And he said, yeah, I'll have a break. So I booked with our friend Kevin French, who is now a huge booking agent.
Yeah, that's
well,
how
I
this
was
goes.
like, hey, can you book, help us book this tour? And I took us to the places very much where I went this tour. Yeah. It's like Savannah, Charlotte, Chapel Hill, like Athens, all these places that we always would tour. Florida, Jacksonville, Gainesville.
Did you hit Charlottesville? No.
Not this. Wait, no, I didn't. No, Richmond, but no.
Richmond's great.
Yeah. So anyway, he loved it so much. He called Sub Pop. He goes, I want to do it. He was in the van. I want to do this again with this band. Let's do a longer tour. And then we did like a 2-month tour all across the country. And that's where he made that documentary,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, that's to say, we were talking about it recently, David and I, and he was like, man, those days, like, that was the real deal touring. Like, van, sleeping on floors.
Eating Slim Jims. Going to the bathroom at this truck stop. The whole thing, watching in that.
Bottle of Patron at every show. Doing shots on stage.
Yep.
Like, definitely having a next level energy. It still takes a lot. It does take a lot to tour nonstop. But, yeah, staying up every night. Like,
yeah, that's
up all night. That's where the song comes from.
All night.
Staying up all night. It's where good times happen.
They do happen. Whether you're watching TV, I remember just being excited to stay up by myself and watch like Friday night videos or something like that.
Me too.
And then it was like a huge deal, and I would just get like $100,000 bars, a bunch of those, and Pringles, and I would just rock out by myself, and I loved it.
Rob, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Like summer parties as a kid.
Yeah.
Dancing
boys,
all night. Till like growing up and wanting to hang out with the opposite sex or the same sex, whatever you choose. And like that's the whole scenario. Even if it's not a physical, like just being up with someone that you're so excited to be up with, and then just like friendship, having good times. That whole energy that happens, people like say, I don't do that anymore. I mean, old folks, but like
I know what you're saying. I know where
like,
you're going.
Are you kidding? Like there's nothing to like, to like. I feel like when we project energy onto that not being a cool thing, you're missing out on like the best of times.
Oh, I know,
Good
and I
times,
do
like,
do that, and I do like, but I did rock out and went out every night probably through college and stand up. I mean, I've done enough where I've done enough for 10 lifetimes, but at the same time, I do look down on like coke dudes or dudes doing coke all night. And I would always go be like, but now that I'm older, I'm like. Yeah, sometimes those 3 a.m. hangs when you're just eating chips are some of the best times of your life. So I totally get it. And it's just with some random ass people, and that's just it's one of the beautiful things of life.
When I first moved here, because that's in New York. Moved here, it was every night. Yeah, and literally,
it's one big bar. When you're in your 20s, like literally, New York is just a huge bar. People are just drinking everywhere.
I met Eugene Merman when I first moved here, and we became buddies.
Yeah,
And
Eugene's great, smart,
we
cool,
would
funny.
talk. I mean, we would have philosophical conversations after shows at the bar. Then we would go make art. We would make songs on our freaking 8-track, either at his apartment and mine. We were just friends, and literally spend the night, slumber parties, and I would either get a car back home to go to work at the law firm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally, you're just so excited to hang and do things.
Do art and yeah, Eugene and those guys was the independent comedy thing exploding, and there was a certain, and you were a part of that whole thing. I was kind of a peripheral, but being a San Francisco comic, I kind of was always okay in all those worlds, just because I know all those old school guys.
Rob can fit into any world. Just
I
so
try.
you know.
Yeah, I try to be like water and fit in. But I would say that energy was a lot like the Beatniks either exploding or like the summer of '69. I just thought there was a cultural thing that hadn't happened before, because what people don't understand, stand-up was in a very corny 80s place.
Yes.
Very misogynistic, bad jokes, and kind of going back there down. But I didn't want to go political on this. Yeah. But it was a cool thing for you to be a part of.
Yes.
And to feel that energy. And actually, it's carrying you all through to this day. Like,
That's
before,
true.
when you were in bands and shit, were you ever acting or doing sketch comedy? Or was you just
No.
funny with the crew?
I was just funny with the crew.
You were funny with the crew when I first met you.
That's right.
Here,
Just
I could tell.
funny with the crew, and that was the energy, the vibe. Like, definitely, like, guys that played with Michelle and I, now when I get the feedback, because feedback's all the rage, right?
Yeah.
Feedback from them was like, it was incredible how you could even show up at a club and 4 people be at it and it'd still be fun. Because that's funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
And then
like, look at this shit.
And then, you make friends with those 4 people, and then later on, boy, they're making things happen. We are. It's just like that. We were there for the ride, and so I was always like that. We were laughing since we were kids. We would get in trouble for laughing at the comedians. We would sort of be a part of it, but it was that connection that's crazy, like you're saying, to David, and then it just opened up the floodgates of me being included in the sketch comedy world, and starting my own sketch group, and like doing pilots for television, and writing now, and acting, and it's so cool.
One of the best female sketch groups, probably, definitely of the early aughts, maybe of all time. There isn't that many few sketch comedy groups, and you had amazing videos, and it was the early part of the UCB, and it was with Chelsea Peretti, and there was rumors of Saturday Night Live grabbing some of these ideas from these cool chicks that were... Because there's nothing more powerful than a cool, funny chick. Let me tell you, you scared the whole industry. You came on too strong. You scared them up.
Thank you, Rob.
I'm telling you, you guys were there doing this, and you're still doing. And what I'm saying, it's still like it's carried you into. Okay, you were a musician, and you also had this law thing. You could be smart. You could do all that, but you also ended up doing some acting. I saw your IMDb. You've done some cool shit.
Well, you know what? I'm now, and you do this. We've done this. He's amazing. You all know this. That's why you listen to the show. But like being open and just diving into anything you're scared of. And the fact is, people, if you like go on that train of being yourself, people tap into that. So I've been asked to be like I first got asked to be in sketch on Conan, and that's how it started. And then I got asked to be in people's films, and then got asked to be on shows. You know what I mean? Like, and I've auditioned. Oh my God, that's hard stuff.
Yeah, it's
Auditioning
a balance.
is like hard.
Oh, it's hard.
So I'm down for people asking me to do stuff where they know what my skill sets are, or writing for myself. That's key. For those of you waiting, I know so many funny actors that just wait. I'm like, don't wait. Write for yourself.
You got to write, whether it's a short film or any, because nobody knows your vibe but you. And as you make your album, you just kind of tinker with these things. The same thing with comedy and being on stage. I just tinker with these, whatever's in front of me, and then it just starts to form into something, and you have to keep working with that energy.
I haven't heard, the word tinker is a really good word.
Yeah, you got to tinker.
It takes me back to Tinker Toys.
Tinker Tots. Yeah, tinker. Tinker Toys, in which were these like easy building blocks, like it's for kids that were Lego was a little too much, so it just had two like creases in each thing, and you just stack them. And I love it. You just but yeah, there was the metal one, so yeah.
Oh my gosh!
But I love tinkering with my art. Whether this podcast, Shapeshifter Lounge is so good. Shapeshifter Lab, so nice to let us do it. But I've done it at coffee shops, other places. I'm still tinkering with the idea of podcasting and making it all happen.
You are doing it. I mean, he's on 234. That's freaking crazy.
I love doing it. I love doing it and talking to cool people like you and talking a little bit deeper, but not going too deep. That's why I like keeping it an hour.
Yeah.
And if it ever goes off rails, I can always talk about coffee or talk about weed.
Man, this was good.
Yeah, this is great coffee.
Just say
shout out.
Shapeshifter Lab. I don't even know what kind of coffee it is, but it's amazing. And thank you for having us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is the fact that you even, I think sometimes you take it for granted when you make art that everyone's doing things the same ways and that you don't need to talk about it. But I think if I could inspire anyone to just sort of get out of their head and put things down so that we can hear it like that. I want to hear your music. I want to hear new things. I don't care what freaking magazines tell me to listen to, or I really, if I meet you and you seem cool, I want to hear what you're making.
Yeah, you don't get, I think especially with AI and everything happening on the internet, like even looking at numbers and likes, I think that stuff is going away. Like even now, I think people are starting to see through the bullshit. And if you like something, even if it doesn't have a huge following, it's still good. Like it does. Good art just reverberates, and you can't stop it. Good is good, and even if you don't even see it, it's still being good.
It's true. It's true. The last thing I wanted to say about that tour is I just got off tour. And it is true, like he was talking about, like you go to diners, you like have to eat. I mean, we had some fast food, not much, because we try to be healthy. Yeah. But like, it's just totally like drive, get an hour before, do the show, get back to your room, go to sleep, wake up, and do it all over again. So you don't, the best part of the show is beyond being with your bandmates is like the people at the shows. And I really like set out this path of like making sure I celebrated all the places that have supported me forever.
Yes.
And so I went down south. I grew up in the South. It's where I played all the time. I went from here, Charlotte, Jacksonville, Gainesville, Nashville, Knoxville, Richmond, Charlotte, Charleston. Like these
Holy
places,
shit.
Athens. Like these places supported me for my whole career, and now I just felt so much love from the folks there, and especially, and we're not talking politics, but in this political climate, I feel like, especially down south, those people that live there that are awesome don't get celebrated enough, and so that's my shout out to them.
Shout out to them.
They're great humans, right?
Oh, the great.
And
look,
it's like,
say,
let's elevate. Man, let's help.
But it's hard. It's hard down there. But I always say
Support
the coolest
them.
dudes in the world, and I say dude as female entity essence of living life, is a Southern dude that isn't racist. Is like the coolest motherfucker to hang out with because they're so laid back and they get along with everybody.
That's key.
That's the key. That's the key. But when you start hanging out, that's the thing about cliques and tribes and accents and all that stuff. We can get heavy with all the layers.
And they're everywhere. I think
they're everywhere.
It's
everywhere.
Like each version is everywhere, and like
the energy's everywhere. That's why. And I also think like, oh, it's better in the '90s or better. It's the same energy. Yeah. Same fucked up energy was going on then as it going on now. Guess what? In 50 years, it's going to be same fucked up energy. Everybody going around, oh, it's all going to fall apart. I'm going to fall apart.
It's just
but we got to learn to let it go and flow a little bit.
Slow and low. That is the tempo.
That little classic Beasties. That's actually my favorite Beasties song of all time. Slow and Low is low-key their best tune.
That's a good one. And that, you know what, going back to touring, seeing the Beastie Boys then Oh, so good.
Don't get me started. That's why I'm here in New York still. I'm 52. I saw the Beasties on the Raising Hell tour with Houdini, and I'm still trying to hang out. But yeah, their vibe is always, that's the New York hip hop that I also love. Is that kind of DIY, stripped down.
So good.
It's so fun. So same as punk rock, same as reggae, same as. Oh, before you play your music, because we got to have you play a couple tunes.
Thank you.
But there is like what I've noticed because you're more in the music side and bands, but there is a gossipy word on the street in that world, and there are the musicians that are known as funny, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that cat is funny.
Oh my God.
Like Fred Armisen, he wasn't from the stand-up or he wasn't from the sketch world. He was from the band world. He was from like Wilco and punk bands.
He was he was in a band in Chicago. He's a musician. I mean.
Yeah, and it must have got around like that guy's funny to play with.
And you know the first thing that he did, because he was in Blue Man too, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, he did this. He sort of did that short video at South by Southwest.
Yeah.
And that's what blew him up, where he was like that dude that was at the, it's a character that he ended up sort of taking to SNL, but that was the first video. He made this weird video. He was sort of punking folks at South by Southwest. And that character, like, you know what I mean? That was like tying the music into it. But you're right, like, you know, the drummer of Superchunk, well, he plays with everybody. Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
The original Superchunk.
Yeah.
He's just super funny.
Yeah, and he has his own radio show. It's like a big radio show. Anyway, there's so many, to me, musicians are so many funny people that would, you know, that was the key to me having a good time on the road all the time, is these people making me laugh. Ted Leo is funny.
Yeah.
You know.
He's a shout out to him. But yeah, and the same thing with hip hop. Like if you have funny, and that's the Beasties were funny. They always had good funny lines. And then Biz Markie was funny.
Oh.
So, and he's cooler like than 50 Cent or Jay-Z. Like in terms of like, if you go to the pure essence of funk and what is good, if you put funny on it, funny trumps everybody. That's what I just say. Like you could be the coolest of the cool and have that, but if you have funny, that's that Tracy Morgan thing. That's that just goofball vibe, and that's kind of what I've always. Even if I see it in bands or I see it in art,
it's always trumps.
Basquiat had some humor going on in his shit. Warhol had. You could see the funny.
Did I tell you that when I did the Warped Tour a while ago, and Cool Keith was on that tour.
Oh, that guy's out there, dude.
Oh, and I
love him. He's funny.
I got to be friends with DJ Evil E. I don't know if you guys know him, but he was Ice Cube's DJ way back. He's so cool.
So cool.
Eric.
Wow.
And so we became friends, and then he would invite us on the Cool Keith bus.
Uh-oh.
And whoa. I remember our bass player, Jeff, who played on my new album, he like went on the bus and just got stoned with them, and he almost couldn't find his way back.
Yeah. That guy's going into outer space.
Cool Keith one day, because he is like consistently on another planet.
Yeah, but on a creative, he's one of those creatives, but also probably smokes a lot of weed. But there's certain creatives that.
Dr. Octagon.
Yeah, Dr. Octagon.
What?
Yeah, they going in and creating your own universe. That's the hardcore, even with the metal bands or whatever. But that's what I'm trying to tap into with. I'm trying to create my own universe. This is my spaceship.
Yeah, you are.
And and you are flying in the Cannabis Coffee Hour spaceship.
Man.
Can you play us a couple tunes?
Yes.
We got to wrap this bad boy up.
Man, Rob, thank you so much for having me. Just can I just say one more time? I love Rob Cantrell.
Oh, Shonali
I think
Bhowmik.
he's so funny, but he's also such a wonderful dude, fantastic human, and I'm so happy we're friends.
I'm so happy. Thank you for doing this, and you were traveling around the world, and to come over here and take the time out. I appreciate it. And you're an amazing musician, and yeah, you're a legend.
Oh,
Shonali, you're an absolutely comedy music legend. And I'm always intimidated that you have a law degree. I'm like, do not fuck around with this.
I can help. I mean, at least help you and.
Yeah, you can help it. Yeah, you are a part of the good side and the good vibrations.
Help us not to be scared. Like people,
people are scared out there. No.
Like I can help you not be scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been around.
Well, let me grab my guitar.
Yeah.
Let me tell you all, I've played electric guitar on stage my entire career. And I wrote some of these songs with acoustic guitar. And so on this tour, this was the first time I started playing both. So, we had to do the whole professional handoff. Somebody, I grabbed the acoustic and all that. It's a lot. It's a lot, but it's worth it. And so I got this new black guitar in honor of Johnny Cash, because that was my first rock and roll crush as a kid.
How can you not?
I'm going to play 2 songs for you. This one is on my last record with my band, Tigers and Monkeys. I feel like in these times, we got to hold on to the hope. I'm not scared of saying that. So this is for all of you feeling restless, feeling nervous. We got this. We got to stick together. Okay, so let me make sure I'm in the right place.
Yeah, take your time.
Caught up with the man who lost his lover's name, sat back and touched the sun and kept a running gauge. Eyes on the scene, now you gotta get paid. Here's the truth, we're hanging on, it's a masquerade. We got 4 more years to get things straight. I have their Star Wars, what a great escape. Duck the rules, grab the wheel, sit up straight. Raise the roof, clear your mind, it's an endless way. We're not so young, we're restless. We're not so young, we're restless. The dream's still alive now, put it in its place. Go back to work, go back to sleep, go find a time and space. Eyes on the wheel, now you gotta get paid. Here's the truth, we're hanging on, it's a masquerade. We're not so young, we're restless. We're not so young, we're restless. Caught up with the man who dropped his lover's rage, sat back and touched the sun and kept a running gauge. Eyes on the screen, now you gotta get paid. Here's the truth, we're hanging on, it's a masquerade. We're not so young, we're restless. We're not so young, we're restless. Come on, Rob. You keep going. Go on. We're not so young, we're restless. We're not so young, we're restless. Here we go. We're not so young, we're restless. Yes!
Yeah! That is look, you see, do that lick again. That is a sick lick. Yeah, I can see it. That just came out. That just came out, didn't you? You had that. You're like, oh yeah. You played that into. You were like, this is a little rocker.
This is, and it's like I played this live on a news Memphis television, and my friend played slide. Like it's just got that old '60s rock and roll swagger and country. And anyway, but the words.
It was
the song is
amazing.
called "The Dream Is Still Alive."
dream is still alive. It always is alive.
It's alive.
It's alive.
I love it. We talked about that in the show. We were talking like our dreams that come true all the time.
All the time. And yeah, I wasn't worthy. When I listened to it, I was like, I'm not worthy. Like, you sounded so good and so acoustic and so raw, and you're doing it for real. You are singing from your soul of soul at 11 a.m. out in Brooklyn doing her thing. Thank you for playing.
That almost makes me cry because that is so much what it is. It's like, as an artist, to start feeling like I'm being me, and that's the goal. But to feel it when it's like it happens in those moments where you're just like, this is what it is. It's like, it's in you, and you just have to let it out.
You're so worth it, Shonali. No, when I closed my eyes and I was listening, I was like, oh my God, she has amazing voice, amazing guitar. And that's the guitar riff was for real, just you singing it and putting it all together. Just sitting on a wooden chair in one moment. It's so hard to do. It looked simple, but what she was doing, it was rocking. And to make it rock, it's not easy, man.
No.
It is not easy. And you're the real deal. That's the thing I've been, not to get cocky, but just as you get older, it's like, I'll go into stand-up rooms, and now I'm like, oh, these guys are lucky I'm fucking here. Nobody has this much. No, I've just been around. I'm saying,
but
I've been around for 20 years, so now I'm owning it, and I'm just like, no, like I know how to do this. Yes. That's all. Right. And you know how to do it. Like when you were playing, I was like, that was the real deal.
Thank you. It's totally right. It's like remembering all this work that you've done.
Yes, that's all I'm saying.
Is with you, and like. You've accomplished something. Like
just being there, just being around for that many years and just learning and taking all the hits is like it's something. So everybody that keeps going, just keep going. Yeah,
keep going, because you'll get to places that just make you feel good based on what you're doing. Like it doesn't matter the rest of the noise out there.
And the hard times lead to the good times lead to the hard times,
right.
And it's all one.
It's all one. Well, so this song that I'm going to play is the title track off my new album. And my new album has all kinds of it's an assortment of songs. Like, so there's like new wave, rock, singer-songwriter. This one is a little more tapped into my Nashville roots. Imagine slide guitar and just cool harmonies.
Oh, it's got a little country. I can do it.
It's got a little country.
We'll do this. We'll take this out. This will be taking us out.
Yes. It's called One Machine at a Time. And the message is, and this is crazy because I was thinking about this, all this technology around us, it's supposed to be providing us such support and luck. It can get us feeling crazy. But we will, as you just said, it's like Rob was saying, like, we're going to get this. We go through these cycles. So we're going to handle this technology thing and machines. Yeah. So today I was like, this is one voting machine at a time. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I voted today. Oh, yes! I went out there. I did it.
Yes, man. Do it early. So, again, one machine at a time. Thank you for having me.
One machine at a time. Shonali Bhowmik, everybody, go get her album right now on Spotify, iTunes, the 9.
Oh, thank you. Gotta slow it down.
Yeah, slow it down.
Hold my hand, I'm about to float away. Keep my mind off of the floor. Break it down, kick into a good groove. Keeping up with the score. I was the only one left at the party. I had to walk home all alone. Signals change. I search for you and you and you and you. 'Cause even when you're so far out and I'm stuck in the weeds, baby, we'll get through this one machine at a time. Bum, da 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 da, bum. This is a slide. Dun, da da dun. Bum, why we're all here. Shift down, tuning out the white noise, phasing out all our fears. I was the only one left in the darkness when the cameras disappeared. Well, as the colors changed, I searched for you and you and you and you. 'Cause even when you're so far out and I'm stuck in the weeds, baby, we'll get through this one machine at a time. 'Cause even when you're so far out and I'm stuck in the weeds, baby, we'll get through this one machine at a time. 'Cause even when you're so far out and now I'm stuck in the weeds, baby, we'll get through this one machine at a time.
The voice, the playing. You got a beautiful voice.
Thank
You got a
you.
beautiful voice. You would play so good. You did it for the show. You do it for the world.
Thank you,
Shonali
Rob.
Bhowmik, thank you so much. This is it. This is the end of the pod.
Fun. This is so fun. Love to all of you. I hope everyone has a wonderful end of the year and new year going into 2025 and the rest of your life.
I agree. Rest of your life, peace and love. That's
Peace
it.
and love.
Yep. Cannabis Coffee Hour. We're out.